We just recently learned some more details on the scrapped version of Doctor Strange 2 before it became Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that we got in the final cut. And this of course would have been a version that played before Spider-Man No Way Home. So now we connect all the pieces and see how they interlock. And well, we got a better picture of just what exactly the film originally was and how it affected Spider-Man No Way Home. So this news came at us recently from Bo DeMaio, who was talking about his time with Marvel Studios, of course, working on Blade a bit, and then of course working on other aspects of the Marvel multiverse like Doctor Strange 2, before he was fired due to the conduct surrounding X-Men 97. And he talked a little bit about how the original draft of Doctor Strange 2 did Wanda justice. Now, of course, if you're confused at what I'm talking about, there's a lot of people that believe that Wanda is not a villain and that she did nothing wrong in WandaVision or Doctor Strange 2, and they will die on the bed defending that character and every choice that's made, which is a little weird because she's a villain. But he also revealed that the story was Wanda recovering from what she did in Westview, and Doctor Strange was helping her, but she was also sort of helping them. And she was helping Wong actually, help America Chavez and sort of tutor her. And the whole idea was to battle the character of Nightmare across the multiverse, and she would have then seen a version of herself that was happy, but with her children still intact. But Wanda would end up resisting the urge to do this, and then she would end up helping Doctor Strange defeat Nightmare, who turned out to be a variant of Doctor Strange that was corrupted by the Darkhold. Okay, there's more to the story, so let me just quickly talk about what we just talked about. So the whole idea of let's do her justice. I mean, I kind of get it, but the way they went in Multiverse of Madness to me makes sense. She straight up becomes a villain. She was abducting people for her own fantasy and making them live out miserable lives and be missing, Like, that's what a villain does, right? So trying to justify that to me doesn't work, and I think Sam Raimi clearly realized that and said, yeah, we're not gonna do that. And that's what stuck through. But then talking about how we had Wong helping America Chavez and that they were sort of both helping teach her. This I kind of like, because it fits into the whole story of she's not a villain and here's what we're doing here. And I get that angle on it, and I think that's kind of creative and a good way to spin it and handle that. And seeing America Chavez kind of be in this position where she's not maybe being chased by Wanda because she needs her because of the whole multiverse implication, that's another cool angle. But again, it belongs in this specific version of the film and can't fit into the Multiverse of Madness that we got. And then talking about how she's in the multiverse when they're jumping, and she spots herself living a happy life with her children, and she has to resist the urge to go back to that. I do like that. I actually think that's great, but at the same time, I like how Multiverse of Madness showed that she was sort of fractured and broken at the loss of her children, and she did some questionable things, which to me works because a lot of people, when something happens, have a knee-jerk reaction or do some terrible things that they automatically regret. So her inevitable redemption arc, to me, feels like it's gonna hit a lot better due to the fact that she has this retrospective and she can look back on and go, oh, here's what happened. So it was sort of the same way to get to the same conclusion is what I'm saying. But then we got a little bit more in, okay, Darkhold corrupted Strange variant was Nightmare. I don't like this at all. This sounds pretty terrible. Like, we got multiverse Doctor Stranges, right? We got the one at the beginning. That's like the Defenders version from the comics. And then we got Zombie Strange, which is still him. But, I think that's enough. Having Benedict Cumberbatch essentially just be Nightmare, and it sounds like he just would have been the version we see during the incursion. It's kind of like, oh, okay, well that's not really interesting. It's just evil Doctor Strange again. We need another villain. And Nightmare would have then been sacrificed. So a lot of people are saying, well, this is a way better script. I love this. But this is the same people that will complain that their favorite, latest Marvel character has been botched when they get something wrong. You know? So wouldn't people be mad that this isn't Nightmare at all? See what I'm getting at here? There's a lot of revisionist history from people that just hate Doctor Strange 2 that are like, this all sounds better, but it contradicts their other arguments. But nonetheless, let's get back to more of this plot. So at the end of the film, Doctor Strange and Wong are trying to comfort Wanda. And she realizes that she can't get her kids back, and she's not going back to these other multiverses where there is a Wanda. So she decides to snap, and then she attacks Doctor Strange and beheads and kills Wong, who tries to stop her from fleeing into the multiverse to go and live out her perfect life and, get rid of one of the Scarlet Witches or Wandas that we saw and abduct her kids. And that's the cliffhanger of the film. So everybody that's saying that this is way better, okay, so you hate what they did with her in Doctor Strange 2, the way we got it, because she's a villain. But here at the end, after doing all this, she goes, oh, I could have had a perfect life, huh? Well, I want to go kill that Wanda and steal her children. Sorry, Doctor Strange, I'm going to maim you really bad. Oh, and Wong, you're dead. And then runs away anyway. It's kind of getting to the same ending at the same time, right? Like, she's still a villain, regardless of which version you get. So, this version, to me, honestly does sound inferior. I don't know, maybe that's just me. It probably is, I don't know, whatever the case is. I just don't like this. But then, how does this affect Spider-Man No Way Home? Because that's another big piece of the puzzle, right? Well, things would get really interesting, right? Because Wong is now gone, so he can't factor into telling Doctor Strange what to do, and Doctor Strange is clearly messed up in the head from losing him, so he has nobody to tell him, hey, don't do that. I'm now the Sorcerer Supreme, you can't do that. So Strange just goes on his own and helps Peter, and we know he would have been locked in the mirror dimension. So did Wanda maybe do something to affect that, or what exactly happens? Again, we're not going to know for probably a long time, but I like hearing about this other version, but people are overblowing this like it would have been a 10 out of 10. And again, this is revisionist history, because when you don't get the film you want and you hear these things without seeing them play out, it sounds perfect. But at the end of the day, she still ends up a villain. So anybody arguing that this makes her less of one, she literally beheads Wong and then escapes to go abduct her children. It's the same thing.